The Islamic Republic of Iran is the leading state sponsor of terrorism. They've spent decades funding terror attacks all over the world. Iranian proxies have launched thousands of missiles at Israel. And in fact, Iran launched the largest ballistic missile attack in history against Israel last year. But Iran doesn't just chant death to Israel, they chant death to America as well. Iranian proxies murdered American service members. They've tried to assassinate President Trump. Their proxies have launched missile attacks against U.S. Navy warships and commercial cargo vessels. And most concerningly, they are closer than ever to possessing a nuclear weapon that would threaten the security of the United States and our allies. Yet for 4 years, President Biden chose a policy of appeasing Iran. The Biden administration relaxed sanctions on Iran and enabled them to generate $100 billion in oil revenue. They unfroze $6 billion in Iranian assets on the anniversary of 9/11. And they continue to push for a renewed Iran nuclear deal, even though Iran constantly cheated and continued processing nuclear materials under the first deal. Biden's appeasement first policy invited aggression and made Americans less safe. Thankfully, that all ended when President Trump took office. He's restoring American strength just like he did before. We have to remember, during his first administration, President Trump drained Iran's foreign reserves from $122.5 billion to less than $14 billion. He killed Soleimani, Iran's terrorist Quds Force commander, and he negotiated the historic Abraham Accords, the Middle East's first peace agreement in 26 years. And by the way, he didn't even get the Nobel Prize for that, although he should have. His policies worked, and now President Trump is again doing it. Recently, President Trump took executive action to restore maximum pressure against Iran. He directed the Treasury and State Departments to try and drive Iran's oil exports to zero, which will stop their ability to fund terrorism. He also directed our UN ambassador to pressure our allies to complete the Snapback sanctions and restrictions on Iran. President Trump's actions will make our country safer, but he can't do it alone. Our allies, including the United Kingdom, France, and Germany, also known as the E3, will need to do the same. That's why I will soon introduce legislation pushing our European allies to initiate a snapback of UN sanctions on Iran. These snapback sanctions would include export controls, travel bans, asset freezes, and other restrictions on those involved in Iranian nuclear and missile activities. My legislation would deliver a strong message to our European allies. They need to step up. Iran's possession of a nuclear weapon would threaten our security and the security of our allies. Snapback sanctions are key to ensuring President Trump's maximum pressure policy is successful. I will continue doing all I can do to help President Trump keep Americans safe. On another topic, I'm also introducing a resolution honoring the life of Howard Hawks. Nebraskans benefited greatly from Howard Hawks' leadership and generosity. He was a visionary leader in the business and philanthropic community. He served on the board of Creighton University and as a regent for the University of Nebraska. His historic support for higher education opened countless new doors for Nebraska's students. Howard and his wife Rhonda were also great partners and friends during my time as governor. My resolution will honor his life and legacy.